All right, folks, we are back here on Straight Out of the Cannon. It is 6:48 in the PM here on May the 10th, 2024. The future is here. The future is now. We just finished talking about how the Zionists are getting desperate to control the narrative because social media and so many other alternate forms of information getting out there has scared the hell out of them. But now it's time to talk about something else that the corporate media is not talking about. That the Federal Trade Commission just found evidence that American oil companies colluded with the Saudis to raise gas prices. Now, how much did this cost you all last year? Guess. Just guess. Think about how much money this cost you. $3,000. Damn. Yes. $3,000. The average American family was cost $3,000 by this collusion between American oil companies and the Saudis. U.S. shale oil producer. Oh, let me give props what props to do. This is from the big homie, Matt Stoller, whose Substack is actually called Big. So check out Matt Stoller. Matt Stoller does a lot of stuff about monopolies and corporate power. If you care about that stuff, and you should, if you care about losing $3,000 a year in gas money, check out Matt Stoller. Big is his Substack. It's actually, I think, free to sign up. But anyway, U.S. shale oil producers colluded with the Saudi government from 2021 to 2023 to drive up gas prices. American producers, after a bitter price war from 2014 to 2016, got tired of competing on price with the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, or OPEC. And at some point from 2017 to 2021, they decided to join the cartel and cut supply to the market. This action had the effect of raising oil prices, costing oil consumers something on order of $200 billion a year. Good God. The Federal Trade Commission released evidence confirming that collusion played a serious role in hiking oil prices at the time. Pioneer Natural Resources CEO Scott Sheffield, who is a leader in the fracking field, exchanged hundreds of texts with OPEC representatives and officials discussing crude oil market dynamics, pricing, and output. Sheffield was explicit about his goals, saying, if Texas leads the way, maybe we can get OPEC to cut production. Maybe Saudi and Russia will follow. That was our plan. He said, adding, I was using the tactics of OPEC Plus to get a bigger OPEC Plus done. He talked to shareholders, publicly threatened rivals, and ultimately achieved output cuts across the industry regardless of price. Even if oil gets to $200 a barrel, he said, the independent producers are going to be disciplined. Since the U.S. consumes $7 billion of oil annually, the amount saved by shale oil drillers ended their price war with OPEC. The amount saved was $140 billion to $210 billion per year. Once that war ended, so did the savings. The cost itself is likely a lot higher because pulling shale oil off the market when demand spiked probably caused prices to increase by as much as $20 to $30 a barrel. Anyway, we're talking $500 to $1,000 of extra cost a year to Americans through direct and indirect effects of this conspiracy. this cost shows up most obviously in the form of more expensive gas. But listen to this. But higher oil prices increase the price of everything because we use trucks, we use boats, everything. Everything from potato chips because of gas being the primary cost in distribution of goods and services. For a family of four, that is $2,000 to $4,000 a year in higher costs. Man, that is wow. In 2021, 2022, many of us populists, of which I consider myself one, question whether oil companies were engaging in a conspiracy which triggered intense pushback from economists like Larry Summers, who both Bill Clinton and Barack Obama brought into their administrations. The black presidents, y'all. That market power as a cause of inflation is a silly theory. Yes, Larry Summers said market power as a cause of inflation is a silly theory. Imagine not believing that the fewer people own something and control something, the more the influence they have over the price of something. If I owned all the drugs in the world, I could theoretically sell crack for $1,000 a hit. I get a supply and demand. How come this clown doesn't? Oh yeah, and he used to be like the head of Harvard or something. I'm pretty sure Larry Summers was like, but that just goes to show you who the elites are in our society, in our elite universities and in our political administrations. And he said, now this is what Larry Summers said, we needed a recession and cuts to government spending to bring down prices. It's always the poor. It's always the working classes. Notice, there's never enough money for health care, for a universal jobs guarantee, for universal education, college education, universal vocational training. Never enough money for that. But there's always enough money for the military-industrial complex, the prison-industrial complex, and for corporations. Always. When you get a handout, you're a deadbeat. When they get a handout, they're job creators. Think about that. Think about how many more jobs all of us could create if we had more money. Think about the services that we use. Remember why Henry Ford made sure that his workers made a living wage? He said, I want my workers to make enough to actually buy the cars that we're making. That's what built the American middle class, was people who were able to buy the things they were making. What do I know? But what do I know? So what happens now? Well, fortunately, there is already a private antitrust price fixing suit, and it just got a big boost from the FTC's release of its complaint. That means that years of litigation against Pioneer, but 7 different shale oil producers. Additionally, the FTC could actually bring monopolization crimes against the shale oil producers, but that's probably contingent on a second Biden term. And with that, folks, that leads me to the break, because this leads into our next story in the next hour after we do the Happy Happies. So you won't want to miss this. I am actually going to say something nice about Joe Biden. But that's after the Happy Happies. You got to stick around for that. We'll be right back after these on Straight Out of the Cannon. Stay tuned if you dare.